Only 5 captains in the proud history of Rangers have held the treble trophies aloft. The name of Lorenzo Amoruso will live forever in the record books as one of those famous 5. Legendary status has been bestowed upon him by the club's supporters. Now into his 30s, Lorenzo's thirst for more silverware is all-consuming. This inspirational player is arguably now playing the best football of his career, and his passion on the football field is matched only by his passion for life.
He's a good professional, a good trainer, and he's pretty meticulous in his preparation. These are all the attributes that you would ask of any professional, and a good role model if people want to copy somebody in terms of what they do on and off the pitch.
Alex McLeish is the 3rd manager Lorenzo has played for at Ibrox since he joined the club for £4 million in 1997. It was Walter Smith who enticed him from Fiorentina and the glamour of Serie A. Here was a player who'd played against the best strikers in the world, and at 26 he was ready for Rangers. Lorenzo's road to Ibrox began in the gritty back streets of Bari, a city of some 800,000 people on the southeast coast of Italy. It's only an hour from Rome, but 1,000,000 miles from the glamorous cultural capital. It's here that the young Lorenzo's talent was nurtured, and as with most Italians, the strong family bond surrounded him with the support he needed in his first eager steps in the game. Guided always by his father Mauro, who has seen him scale the heights and become a soccer superstar.
Of course, Bari is not the best city in Italy. Now, of course, the development about this city has been quite big, but where I come from, I mean, we're talking about 20 years ago, more or less, it was quite difficult for a young boy to find a nice area where to play football or even where studying, because, most of the thing down there is trying to get a good work and, get married as soon as possible and get a family, this kind of thing. So, but it was not so easy. I have to thank many times to my father, to my mother, to my family in general, because they are always been behind my shoulder and helping me to go to the school, but also never let my dreams die, basically playing football. They helped me a lot. So it was quite difficult, but I had a lot of sacrifice together with my parents, because they helped me a few times during these years, and it's been fantastic, because this kind of things that you're never going to forget, because Bari is strange city, no many work in that time, no many jobs to do, no many enjoyment things, and so you must do something good for yourself. But at the same time, the routes that you can take use in a bad way, it's quite easy to get. So I've been quite lucky, but of course, without the help of my parents, it could be very difficult. Over here, the school where I started to enjoy sport generally, and where I was running, I was doing some gymnastics exercise, but always through my mind was the idea to become a footballer. And here we go, this is the pitch where my father brought me here at the age of 7, more or less. And I started, of course, to play with a small team of this small town here, and doing basically everything until the age of 13, where, of course, some scout of Bari Football Club took me over there and starting to play better football in better condition, and, of course, with good exercise and good training. And, of course, after a few years, I became a good footballer.
By the time he was 16, the young Lorenzo was physically and mentally strong enough to be considered for first-team duty. For the local boy, it was a dream come true.
It's been a fantastic dream, to be honest, because, you're coming from a team where they don't have very big fame about football-wise, I mean, it's a very small club in Bari. And so for a young boy, of course, becoming a hero for this team has been fantastic, to be honest. So at the age of 16 and a half, 17, I had my debut in the old stadium of Bari. When we won the title of Serie B, so we got promoted that season, I played not many games, but for a young boy, it's fantastic to get the achievement, all the enjoyment and the celebration around the city has been really unbelievable.
That leap from Serie B to Serie A was performed simultaneously with a move from the old stadium in Bari to the brand new Stadio San Nicola, built for the World Cup in 1990. And it meant that at the age of 18, Lorenzo was to play in one of the country's finest football venues.
We had the celebration of this stadium, the inauguration game against AC Milan, which game I played full 90 minutes and we won basically. And it's been fantastic because it was full of people and fantastic celebration. And for Bari, of course, it was the first time to have a fantastic stadium like that and also have an important World Cup in Bari. It's been really something exciting for everybody around this city. And I played this friendly game against Milan and everything working so well, so I was very happy.
Over the next 5 seasons, Lorenzo played 75 times for his hometown side in 3 different spells, punctuated by loan arrangements with Mantova and Pesaro. As Rangers supporters know, there are few more thrilling sights than an Amoruso attempt on goal. And during his time at Bari, Lorenzo scored plenty.
Prova di potenza e trova la strada del gol. Amoruso, un grandissimo calcio di punizione, qualche responsabilità anche per Zunico. Allora è partito da molto lontano, rivediamo. Grande potenza di Amoruso. Traiettoria non facile comunque per Zunico. Rivediamo. Una trentina di metri dalla linea di porta. Si distende in tuffo. Zunico parte con un attimo di ritardo con Amoruso.
Well, I think the most important goal that I scored here probably has been against Foggia, which is almost a derby in Puglia, in this area where I play. And we were 1-1, 10 minutes to go, and I scored from corner, a fantastic header. So it's been unbelievable because all the people were so happy. It's been really, I think, probably the best goal that I scored in that period, of course.
His experience playing for Bari in Serie A had pitted Lorenzo against some of the finest strikers in European football, Batistuta, Balboa and Signori, to name but 3. And his performances caught the eye of Italy's top clubs. Opportunity inevitably came knocking, and it was time for Lorenzo to bid his beloved family and Bari farewell.
So on the age of 24, few teams, they came to approach me and to ask me if I wanted to play for them, Parma, Fiorentina, and a few others. It was not an easy situation for me because when you have so much pressure on that, you should thinking about a lot, lifestyle, if you want to leave Bari. It's been quite difficult situation for me. The family as well was involved. So, but Fiorentina, I think, made the best step to coming closer to me, and then I decided to go in Florence. And I think, to be honest, after a few years that I'm away from that kind of moment, I think it's been the best choice that I could have, because I had a great success in Florence, and of course, if I'm Ranger player now, probably it's because I had 2 fantastic seasons in Florence too.
Lorenzo realises too that it was the strength of the Amoruso family which encouraged him to take the next step in his career.
You know, I think I just grew up with a good family feeling because we are very close each other. We help each other if we had any problem with brother, sister, my dad, my mom. You know, we are very close. So in that period, it's not been an easy situation for me because stay away and, you know, even if you're still in the same country, but, you know, there are 700 kilometers more or less, and, you know, you should speak on the phone times and time. You go in different city, you should meet definitely different people over there, you know, so it's not been so easy, but I think they really are been behind me most of the time, trying to help me even when there was some little problem. So I have to say the family had a fantastic ruling through my life.
I saw that Lorenzo had very greatest aptitude to play. When he was young, 16 years old, he was a national player for Italian team. And we are very proud of what Lorenzo is doing at the Rangers, and we wish he can win too many trophies with the Rangers.
So it was off to the north of Italy, and the chance to experience the atmosphere of one of the most picturesque cities in Europe. And the football was pretty spectacular too. It may be the Italian way, but the typical cheek-to-cheek greeting reinforces the affection in which Lorenzo is still held at Fiorentina. It's February, and even if the winter sun is weak, he receives the warmest of welcomes from his former clubmates.
Quando hai scacciato da Fiorentina, porca troia, perché sai così? Quel periodo calcolato. Sai cos'è? Te ne accorgi, perché sai, normalmente.
It's part of the Amoruso story that an injury which first surfaced in Italy disrupted his early days at Rangers. But without the expert treatment of the Fiorentina physio, whom he returned to on several occasions, his great treble triumph may not have happened at all.
Chiaramente. This is Alberto Andorlini, the physio of Fiorentina Football Club. Definitely is one of my best friends in Italy, but at the same time has been one of the band together with Grandoni, the physio of Rangers Football Club, that helped me through a bad injury that I had more or less 5 years ago. And with the help of this man and Grant, of course, I said, took a long time to come back to get fit again because it was very bad injury, my Achilles tendon. But with the help of these people here, I've been doing fantastic. And of course, you know, they have been very, very close friends of mine. Even through, you know, after almost 5 years, I can speak with Alberto quite regularly every month, every week, more or less, because our relation is quite good.
But it's playing in big games and winning trophies that Lorenzo prefers to remember about his time with a club which was then in the top echelon of the European game.
Fiorentina at that time was one of the best teams in Italy, and of course the attraction was coming up here in Florence and playing for trophies, basically for the league, for Italian Cup, European competition, and of course meeting and playing, being teammate with such a great player like Rui Costa, Batistuta, Oliveira. So at that time it's been a fantastic achievement for me. The first season when I came here, we arrived third in the league and we won the Italian Cup. And last time that Fiorentina won the Italian Cup, and that time was 1967 or something like that. So it was long time ago. So for me, coming from a different situation from Bari and coming here in Florence and winning the Italian Cup has been fantastic.
And the scorer of one of the goals which clinched victory over Atalanta, yes, the one and only Amoruso.
corner for us, and the game was very, very tough, very tight. No one team was basically ready to win because it was good balance on the pitch, to be honest. There was a corner for us, Rui Costa took it, and in a half volley I just got the ball to the net, and then you realize that you score a fantastic goal, probably the goal that can give you the Italian Cup. It's been so fun, fantastic, all the celebration, my teammates around me, the manager, everybody just cheering up, It's been fantastic. Probably one of the best feeling that I had in my life, for sure.
Shortly afterwards, another major cup was added to the trophy cabinet.
Just after 3 months through the summer, we won the Super Italian Cup against AC Milan in Milan, and it's another fantastic night because, as I told you, as a young boy coming up in this seat, in this big club, and having this honor to win this trophy has been unbelievable, so great.
Lo ricordo molto bene, con grandi soddisfazioni.
Of course, I remember a lot of things about Lorenzo because we won the Italian Cup and the Italian Super Cup. When he came to Florence, he was quite young, just 24 years of age, but already you could see he was a strong character who really played with a great determination. He was a kind of leader who could always be counted on in the dressing room. With his strong character, Lorenzo was inspirational for all the other teammates. When you see a player with this kind of character, you never want to lose, because he brings confidence to the other players. It was very sad when Lorenzo left, because everybody knew that apart from being a good player, he was also a good man in the dressing room. It was not just on the pitch we had a great result, but also outside of the pitch in private life. We had a fantastic group of guys. We really enjoyed to go out sometimes together. It was quite fun. They were fantastic years, and I'm very, very happy to be good friends with Lorenzo.
Essere stato compagno di Lorenzo Amoruso e è ancora un grande piacere essere suo amico.
During that Renaissance period for Fiorentina, Lorenzo faced one of the sternest tests for any defender when he came face-to-face over 2 legs in a Cup Winners' Cup semi-final with the most feared striker in the world at that time.
Straight after the beating Benfica, the draw just took us Barcelona, of course, and we were looking forward to this fantastic game against Barcelona. At that time, Stoichkov, Ronaldo, and many other big players were on that team. And to be honest, with the assistant manager, I started to work on my own, basically doing some different kind of work just to mark Ronaldo. And I have to say, over these 2 games, we didn't go through to the final, but I think I just handled it quite well. He didn't score any goal, and that has been quite good for me, as a defender, because at that time Ronaldo was a fantastic player. But it's something that always will stay in my mind, and I've got also good memory because I swapped the jersey with Ronaldo too.
The first and the main time that I saw him play was in the Nou Camp in Barcelona, which is not a bad environment to see him in. Crowd in excess of 110,000. Playing against Barcelona in the Cup Winners' Cup with a front 3 for Barcelona of Figo, Ronaldo and Stoichkov. So a major test. Lorenzo defended very well. He's very strong, very concentrated, very focused. The game ended 1-1 and I was impressed by just by the disciplined performance. And when he got possession that night, he just used the ball sensibly and played it to the nearest shot.
Lorenzo's second season at Fiorentina was to be an anticlimax, with the team failing to maintain their cup-winning form of the previous year. However, Lorenzo's personal stock had never been higher, and his performances in over 50 Serie A encounters attracted the attention of clubs throughout Europe. Enter David Murray and Walter Smith, with an offer he couldn't refuse. May the 29th, 1997, and 2 more players joined the galaxy of stars at Rangers. As the summer sun blazed through the windows of the Ibrox suite, the Scottish public got their first glimpse of Lorenzo Amoruso. Introduced alongside the Norwegian Ståle Stensas, Lorenzo took his seat beside the chairman, his trademark shades perched atop his flowing dark hair. The Italian version of Antonio Banderas had signed for Rangers, and 1 million female hearts began to beat a little faster.
Yes, I'm very happy in this to arrive in this club.
Is Amoruso a direct replacement for Richard Gough?
Well, he's, I would say, a very similar type of player. As I've said before, it'll be very difficult for us to replace Richard Gough, but we're hopeful that Lorenzo can help fill that gap.
Scottish football is an evolution, and this contract is right for me because in this situation I hope to do very well.
Off the field, in the years since then, Lorenzo's star quality shines ever brighter. He's always in demand. But on it, where life truly matters to him, he has fought so many battles to become what he is now, an Ibrox icon.
Lorenzo's got such a huge presence when he plays. He's a very powerful defender, and he's got a calming influence that does spread throughout the team. And obviously I've played with him quite a lot of the time, and we've formed quite a good relationship. But he's just a tower of strength. You've got that presence in the box, and you know if a ball's going to get knocked in, and it is going to go beyond yourself or other defenders, you know that the big man's behind you, and virtually 99% of the time he's on the end of things to clear things and marshal his troops and get everything sorted.
Well, Lorenzo is a very quality defender. He's got everything the footballer needs there, and as you can see in his games, he's always there for the team, and he does not think just only in the back, just going forward as well, and that makes him a very, very good player.
As he told us in Florence, Lorenzo checked into Ibrox with an Achilles injury. It was initially rated as just a niggle, but it was to become a nightmare. Time and again he was ready to come out of the treatment room and prove himself a £4 million player. Time and again he broke down. One of the few consolations was that he had the peg next to Richard Gough in the dressing room, and it was to prove invaluable in learning what was required of a Rangers captain.
First time I'd heard of Lorenzo, I'd left to go to the United States in May of '97, just after we had managed to clinch 9 in a row. And when I was leaving, the manager said to me, well, I've had to go and get a replacement for you, and you're not going to be missed off here at all. He says, because I've got this fella from Fiorentina called Amoruso. And I said, yeah, I've heard of him. And he says, he's a great player, so that's you, thanks for the memories, that's it. And then unfortunately Lorenzo, I think he came with an injury or came with an Achilles problem. And I got a call in about, because obviously kept up with the team and everything, and I got a call from Walter Smith, and I think about the September of that, and said Lorenzo looked like he was going to be out for the whole season, as well as Alan McLaren being out, and asked if I could come back, which I did do, and it was great because I played an extra 40 games for the club.
Richard has been the main man next to me, first of all because he knew everybody in the dressing room, how you can really lead a club, lead the team in the pitch and also outside the pitch, because I think it's important. Captain means to be a good man outside the pitch as well, not just on the pitch. So many things that I didn't know has been, just thanks to Richard, because, how you're behaving with the referees, sometimes kind of attitude with the press or even with the fans. So little tricks that, of course, through the career of football player are very, very important, because you can't be all the time at the top level. Sometimes you can play bad. So in that kind of situation, you must be careful. You must be, ready for any kind of situation. So that has been the situation with Richard. We were talking quite a lot because we were basically sitting next to each other. So every day, every morning, through the period where I was injured, I could talk with him all the time.
And it was difficult for him, very difficult, like I said. But I think he was. It was like I did when I was younger. He's intelligent as well, and as when I did when I was younger, you looked at the older players I looked at Graham Souness and people like that, and Ray Wilkins and Dalglish, and you tried to glean little bits of information. And I think, well, if he says that he did that with me, that's, I'm flattered by that.
After 10 long months, Lorenzo was finally able to tug on the light blue jersey in earnest. And what a baptism, with back-to-back encounters with Celtic. It's a measure of the man that when he did emerge into the white-hot atmosphere of Parkhead in the Scottish Cup semi-final of April 1998, he was immense.
I mean, it was a massive game to come in and play against Celtic in the first match and do so well. Of course, we knew that he was. I mean, he's been used to play against some of the biggest talents in the world in Italy. So obviously, we knew what kind of player he would be. So I was sure that if he could get over his problems with his Achilles tendon, that he was going to be a very vital player for Rangers.
The couple of days before the semi-final of Scottish Cup against Celtic, the manager was asking Lorenzo, "What do you think?" I said, "Well, I didn't train, I didn't play many games. I just went playing one game, basically a friendly with under 21. So I said, I'm not ready to play. But if you ask me to come on the bench, maybe I'll do it." He says to me, "Okay, I would like to take you on the bench." So we went in the hotel the night before, and then after we went, of course, to Celtic Park because the semi-final was held in there. And the case, sometimes the lives can make so strange jokes, After 19 minutes or something, Gordon Page got an injury or something, so I had to come on. And of course, I couldn't believe it. The people, already when I came in on the pitch, just the beginning of the game, the people, were absolutely unbelievable. The noise was so bad, all the people shouting, half Rangers, half Celtic, a fantastic atmosphere, I have to say. So after 90 minutes, I went on the pitch and I said, "Lorenzo, that's your day, so try to do your best." And I did it, but I think all Ranger team did it that day because we won 2-1 over there, and it's been fantastic. Great performance from me after, almost 11 months of injury, hell, it's been fantastic for me to go through and winning the game and play quite well.
Big Burley trying to make things happen. He's away from Stuart McCall. The pass for Bratback. That's a good challenge by Amoruso. Better than he would have liked. Now in for McCoist! Ali McCoist for Rangers! Somehow it had to be Ali McCoist. Olbar, Darren Jackson for Celtic behind the ball. Albert over it. Amoruso! What a strike that was! 40 yards. And Jonathan Gould had to move to stop it. It's been quite an introduction, this, by Amoruso. And it was swerving away from Gould. And now Alberts. Laudrup on his right, McCoist on his left. Might be a shooting chance for Alberts. He's going all the way! Alberts seals Rangers' place in the cup final.
10 setting himself. Well, for all the years that Rangers have played Celtic and all the importance, there can't have been too many better goals than that. Alberts. With the power that he showed when he scored last Sunday. Can he go all the way again? Absolutely phenomenal!
Just a week later, a Jonas Tern screamer and another Albert stunner gave rejuvenated Rangers hope of a 10th title and completed Lorenzo's rehabilitation in front of the Ibrox faithful.
After a week, playing against my own fans, more or less 40, 45 or something, it's been amazing, We won that game brilliantly, and, it's been another great week for me because, you can ask more than that. Coming to Scotland, 10 months in and play 2 Old Firm games and winning both of them. So it's been fantastic, another great day for me, definitely.
But 10 in a row was not to be. And for many of those who'd chased the dream, it was to be their final shot at glory. Several legendary players bade their farewells. But for Lorenzo, his time was just beginning. A new dawn breaks over Ibrox with Dick Advocat in charge. A new squad is assembled and he needs a leader on the park. The little general doesn't hesitate. There's only one man to fill the boots of Gough, and that is Amoruso.
Of course, I was so proud when Dick Advocaat asking me to lead and to be the captain of this important club. I remember it was just the day before an international game against an Irish team, I think, and he came to me the day before and said, Lorenzo, I've been thinking about the captaincy of this club. I think you deserve it because I could see in this couple of months that you have got good kind of attitude with the players, with the pitch, outside, with the press as well, and you got this strong character that will be helpful for us. So I said, boss, thank you very much, but I think hopefully I can manage to do that. And I have to say it's been quite good because started not very well, I have to say, because half time we more or less we were 3-0 down, but we end up to winning 5-3. So, half time I was quite scared. I said, oh no, this armband doesn't make me a good captain. But in the end of the game I was quite happy because we won 5-3.
And Lorenzo would be even happier at the season's end, one which entered the record books for 3 very good reasons.
Amoruso are there as well, in addition to Wallace and Amato. Delivered by Van Bronckhorst, and that's 2-1. Siep Dijkstra was a spectator there as Lorenzo Amoruso bulleted a header into the back of the net. 5 minutes of the match left, lost by Dijkstra, and that may well have been an own goal of Siggy Jonsson. The contact there seemed to come off the Dundee United defender. Amoruso certainly went for it, but that may have flown off the head of Jonsson, completely lost by Siep Dijkstra.
Between First Division Falkirk and the runaway Premier League leaders. Lorenzo Amoruso may well think about the shot, does so! There's the goal! Rangers so desperately wanted. And it's the skipper, Amoruso. Only his second goal of the season, and that could be vital.
Nobody goes to close him down, but he gets a little bounce off the turf in front of the keeper, and there will be complaint that gave him too much space. But a fine strike on this occasion from Amoruso, accurate. It was from distance, bit of pace in it, and that takes the pressure off Rangers at this stage.
The Scottish League Cup may come third in the list of domestic priorities, but as Rangers rebuilt their reputation at home and abroad, the first silverware was welcome. And for Lorenzo and Rangers, the win over St Johnstone was the confidence booster at just the right time.
After the League Cup final, which we won against St Johnstone, I think, I don't know why, but probably more convincement, more commitment, more credit to ourselves we had it, and we started to play a fantastic football, I have to say, since the beginning of December. Of course, we went through the winter break and we started again with another unbelievable run of wins, maybe 7, 8, 9 wins in a row or something like that, I don't remember. But, I think that trophy has been quite important for all the players in Rangers Football Club, because really gives very big boost to everybody to go forward and to improve ourselves.
The charge for glory was on, and in the strangest of coincidences, it was another 2 winning encounters with Celtic in the last 5 games of the season, which led to the triumphant treble. The first never-to-be-forgotten occasion saw Rangers clinch the league title on the ground of their greatest rivals for the first time. Neil McCann and George Albert scored the goals, and Lorenzo was an inspirational presence.
Game against Aberdeen with a leg injury. Van Bronckhorst slides it through here to Rod Wallace, and it's in from McCann, and Rangers have the lead. And are they edging towards the title? Neil McCann is buried underneath his celebrating teammates.
Yeah, it all came from a good early ball from George Alberts to release Giovanni Van Bronckhorst here on the left. Rod Wallace wanted it in behind and got it, and nobody picked up Neil McCann at the front post. And although he's stretching, it's well controlled. All he's trying to do is get it on target, and nobody picked up McCann's run to the front post there. A well-worked move by Rangers, and a good finish from Neil McCann, who looks as sharp as a tack tonight.
Up steps the hammer, but he doesn't hammer it. He's side-footed into the corner, and Rangers are closing in on the new Scottish Premier League trophy.
Yeah, the perfect penalty there from George Alberts. Didn't go for power, went for precision this time, and just knocked it inside the left-hand post. Fine penalty. Stuart Kerr guessing the wrong way.
Neil McCann. McCann is through here. He's past the keeper, and Neil McCann has clinched the championship for Rangers. It's 3-0. It's the magnificent McCann.
Yeah, his pace really has destroyed Celtic at times tonight. And I think it's Scott Marshall who was caught on the wrong side of him here. The ball's played through. Scott Marshall tries to win it, caught on the wrong side. McCann's quick enough to knock it past Kerr and roll the ball into the net. Still a fair bit of work for him to do here as Stuart Kerr came out to close him down, and he handled it beautifully.
Well, I'm almost lost for words. It's the full-time whistle. Rangers are champions of Scotland. They've reclaimed the title from Celtic, and just to rub it in, their crowning moment comes on the ground of their fierce rivals.
Every player, I think, was so focused, so concentrated on doing his job perfectly, because I think probably that has been one of the best games we ever had. I mean, I can't say we had any mistake in that game. We were through the pitch, so determined to win that game, and we did it 3-0. I mean, we ended up the game really in great performance, everything. In fact, the fans were so exciting about it. You know, it's been the first time in the Ranger history winning the league away in Celtic Park. And it's been fantastic. The atmosphere was great, and you know, our fans were really more than happy, because it's difficult to explain which kind of feeling we had there. But I have to say, you know, all the players in dressing were happy like kids. Unbelievable.
You know, it was never has happened. This Rangers won the league in Celtic Park. That's always there is the first time. This is nice, and the first time for me, for the players, for the gaffer, for everybody, but especially for these great fans, because they deserve it all season. No problem.
And it's a party.
And it's a party, but I think the party is with the fans, not just between us, because I think the fans always are behind us. Also when the game was not really good, and that's important for me, for the player especially.
The following week, a proud Lorenzo Amoruso held the championship trophy aloft, to the delight of a packed Ibrox.
It was a fantastic feeling to lift the trophy, you know, that in Ibrox, you know, even if we won the league at Celtic Park, but, you know, lifting the trophy has been probably the best day of that season for me and for all the players around Ibrox, because, you know, many new players, new manager, new system, And of course, getting the trophy, the 2 trophies already in that period, it was something unbelievable, you know, because nobody probably could bet in the beginning of the season winning 2 trophies in that season. So it's been really great. And I have to say, all the fans really were just, you know, so happy, so closer to us, because that celebration that night, we've been celebrating with some fans as well, and it's been really nice for everybody down there.
Just 27 days later, Lorenzo led his troops out for the Scottish Cup final at the new Hampden Park. It was a nervy affair, with Rod Wallace claiming an opportunist goal to separate the teams.
Mjällby. In step D'Amato for Rangers. Van Bronckhorst. Vidmar. It went away from Wallace, but it comes back to him! And Rangers are in front in the Scottish Cup final! And it's Rod Wallace!
Well, who else? The man who really has lit up Rangers' season since he came north of the border. Once again, Vidmar was involved on the left-hand side here. And it's played in behind Wallace there. It eventually breaks to him, sets up perfectly. Jonathan Gould exposed and left with absolutely no chance. Just sits up beautifully for him, and he was never going to miss from this range. Falls behind him there, gets the break of the ball off Neil McCann. And you can see the delight in Dick Advocaat's face.
In a backs-to-the-wall final 20 minutes, Rangers relied on a captain who'd shown throughout that season that he had earned the right to be up there alongside John Greig and Richard Gough. If there is one emotional moment which epitomises the spirit of the man from Barry, then this surely is it.
Amoruso, who's met everything, well, almost everything. When he hasn't met it, Hendry has. Weghorst, all classes flapped a little. Stubbs is there. Lambert, was that handball from Amoruso? Hugh Dallas has a look and says no.
Well, I'd like to see this one again. Comes out here, it's Lambert with the outside of the right foot as it breaks here. And I'll tell you what, I think Celtic have a case there.
I think somebody just deflected the ball outside the box, and then I think Paul Lambert had a fantastic shot. Stefan Klos was basically beaten, and I don't know why, I was almost on the line. And then with my chest, with my heart behind my shoulder, basically, I just deflected the ball on the corner. And then, of course, all the Celtic players, probably Celtic fans, they were aiming for a penalty, but it wasn't a penalty at all. We already shown on the pitch. But I have to say, Hugh Dallas has been fantastic, because I don't know many referees in that kind of pressure situation could say, no, it's not penalty. So great credit to him, but of course, I've been quite lucky and we saved the game.
It's time for Rangers to bounce up these steps. Lorenzo Amoruso is about to show the watching world that Rangers have won the Scottish Cup and the treble.
The Advocaat era had begun with the ultimate domestic collection. There had been an inspirational signing in Van Bronckhorst, and Rod Wallace was an almost unsung hero with 27 goals. But one of the most significant decisions of all had come when the Dutchman handed over the armband before a ball was kicked.
It's been quite strange, I have to say, because the morning after the celebration I was in the airport, and of course pictures of myself were all over the newspapers, you know, lifting the cup, the Scottish Cup trophy, you know, and of course celebrating the treble. All the people were, you know, asking autographs through the plane, you know, on the way back to Italy, and it's been fantastic, I have to say. I realized when I was on the plane that I did it as a captain, of course, not just on my own, but as a captain, that I won a treble with Rangers, which has been made just from another 4 players. And I've been one of the luckiest ones. So it's something that nobody anymore can take away from me, from Rangers, or from football history, you know. So it's been something that always will keep in my heart, because it's a feeling that maybe in the beginning you don't realize how much big is it, but after a while, after a couple of years, then you really understand how important is this treble, or was treble for me.
The new season started with a bang. The dream of Champions League action was now a reality. The first qualifying round offered up the Finnish side Haka, and it didn't take long to finish them off.
Reina, there's Wallace. That's a free kick, surely. Now, it will be interesting to see who takes this first position that we've got into. There you are, there's the challenge from the back. There's no question at all about that. That, by the way, is what makes Rod Wallace such a dangerous player. Whether he's facing goal or is back to goal, he has that ability to turn quickly. Well, Amoruso's there. Remember, George Alberts is on the bench today. Then Broncos and Barry Ferguson also hovering at the back. It's Amoruso, and it's in! Oh, what a strike! Lorenzo Amoruso in 17 minutes. Jubilation for the tiny bunch of Rangers support. And there was no way they could stop that. Oh, I think he's pleased that George Alberts is on the bench for that particular reason. He loves taking free kicks, and this is exactly why.
It was nice because we went in Finland for the first game, for the first leg over there, and we knew that the team was not that bad, but of course nothing to fear for Rangers. And I scored the first goal, I think, fantastic free kick, quite hard, straight through the goal, nice goal, you know. And of course that it was a great beginning for me, but also for Rangers Football Club for the Champions League qualify. So we won 4-1 that game, and we repeated the winning against Aka in home 3-0 or something, and you know we were through the next round. It was quite good.
The next round threw up the inevitable, another tie against the Italian giants Parma. The previous season they had beaten Gers in controversial circumstances in the UEFA Cup, when Lorenzo and Sergio Perini faced some unsavoury accusations. Parma had spent £50 million on new players, but they hadn't bargained on Rangers' 12th man.
It was impossible for the first 10-15 minutes hearing your mates, friends on the pitch talking to you. Was impossible. The noise of the people was so loud, and you know, all the things around Ibrox in that hours, they were so amazing, you know, and we played a fantastic game. We started so aggressive, so well, you know, well organized. We scored a goal with Tony Widmer right after 10 minutes or something. We had a few other chances, and then Cannavaro was sent off. So more the people were, you know, just helping us, exciting, you know, and supporting us all the time through the 90 minutes. And then we scored in the second half another goal with Claudio Reina, but we could score maybe another 3, 4, 5 goals.
Then a magnificent performance in Italy, where a solitary goal was conceded, led to scenes of joy as the whole Rangers family celebrated one of their finest moments in Europe. The doors to the promised land of the Champions League were opened, and what a journey it was to be.
They are through. It's Glasgow Rangers into the European Champions League, beaten on the night by a single goal scored by the Belgian Johan Balem, but they knock out the UEFA Cup holders Parma on an aggregate score of 2-1, and it's a glory night for Scotland, a glory night for Dick Advocaat, a glory night for Glasgow Rangers.
Claudio Reina, I'm sure, stung by the criticism he got after that game at Valencia. Played in German football, of course. He's Reina, got in and on. Alberts has a shot, he's done it! George Alberts has scored for Rangers!
Following a defeat away to Valencia, George Albert's strikes against Bayern Munich at home and against PSV Eindhoven in Holland had shown that Rangers were capable of holding their own in the group.
Alberts has scored for Rangers!
Then, on another rousing night at Ibrox, Signore Amoruso achieved another of his great football goals, to score in the Champions League.
Very congested box again, that's it! Amoruso! No cover for the big captain, And I think Rangers deserved that for the move they had originally to get the corner.
Well, initially when it's a good save by the goalkeeper, you think their chances missed. What a brilliant corner. That is a quality corner. A delivery like that is so difficult to defend, and you've got big Amoruso coming in front of the defender. No chance for the goalkeeper. A superb goal by the Rangers captain, and that is exactly the start they needed after only 19 minutes.
I think all the player who can really wanted to play at high level, probably could do everything to be involved in Champions League, because it's the best competition in the world, and of course you face every game important players, big names, So, and for a defender, having a chance to score against an important team in Champions League game is fantastic. So it's been great, fantastic. We won 4-1 as well that game, and everything was going the right way that night. We ended up the game. We could score maybe more than 4 goals, but we were happy because I started to see what I was voted for, Rangers, and that has been a great start for me in that period.
That superb win further fueled the arguments that the bigger the game, the better Lorenzo plays. And it was rough justice on his side that they should be edged out by a single goal on a November night that will always be remembered for Michael Mole's sickening knee injury. 4 days later, though, came the perfect cure for the European hangover, with Lorenzo's first ever Old Firm goal.
It's been a strange week. We knew that we played a great game against Bayern Munich, and we lost it, of course. On the weekend we had to play home against Celtic. It was not an easy game, of course, but we knew that our performance, our commitment, they were fantastic, very, very top level. So I think we went on the pitch exactly with the same commitment we were shown a few days early in Munich. I don't think anyone around Ibrox or the player on the pitch really felt that we are going to lose this game, because we were so dominant. We were really strong, too strong probably for that Celtic team, and in fact we won that game quite comfortable.
Amoruso has elected to take this again, emboldened by that effort he had in the first half. Crouched there, and I think the referee looking at him very carefully as Amoruso puts it in, it's gone in! Rangers are in the lead. I think there may have been a deflection, and what a relieved man Amoruso is.
You scored your first goal against Celtic.
Yeah, I scored my first goal with a little help of deflection from the wall, but I have to say we were great. We were great that day. For me, it's been fantastic to score against Celtic, because in Scotland, like in Italy or in Spain or any other country, when you score against your your traditional opponent, which is the Old Firm in this kind of country here, it's a great feeling. Or you can see really the people happy, or maybe talking about this goal for years, probably. So it's been a great feeling, really.
Well, I think Lorenzo's a people like me. He's a big player in Glasgow Rangers Football Club, and he always loved to play against Celtic. You can see that, and he was a big game player as well. When we played UEFA Cup or Champions League, he was always there. He was always 100% on the top, and I think that is the most important things for him as well.
And another sensational free kick scotched past his old pal Andy Gorham in a 5-1 thrashing of Motherwell a week before Christmas.
Ideally set up either for Amoruso or Albert, but methinks the captain is actually pulling rank here and is going to have a go at this. Well, Albert scored from a free kick last week. A lot of play going around there. Amoruso! Oh, it was hit so hard, even one of Scotland's best goalkeepers couldn't keep it out. The sheer ferocity of the shot put that through as Rangers, I think, very deservedly at this stage are 2-up. It could have been double that now. And watch the big Italian, one of the most colourful, if not controversial, players in the business at the moment, drives that in with that tree trunk of a leg of his.
and even Andy Gorham's full experience couldn't nullify the spin and the strength of that.
Refreshed by their winter break in Florida, the squad embarked on a magnificent run of results, losing only once in the second half of the season. And Lorenzo added a further goal against Hearts at Ibrox.
So Van Bronckhorst whips it in, and Amoruso has bundled it in. What a bizarre goal, but it restores Rangers' 2-goal cushion, and the semi-finals are in sight.
Yeah, a major inquiry going on in that Hearts defence there. Decent front post corner, but nobody in a maroon and white jersey is prepared to attack it here. And Amoruso hardly has to get off the ground there to bundle the ball into the net. Terrible goal for Hearts to lose. It's Tomacek who's in front of him, and Rangers have a vital cushion.
The league was all but sewn up with a sensational 4-0 triumph over Celtic at Ibrox a fortnight later. The culmination of 4 games against them without a defeat.
Giovanni Van Bronckhorst with a real swirling corner, and Kanchelskis knocked it across, and it's in from Alberts. What a start for Rangers, and they have got it in for Celtic again. It's as physical as ever. Oh, Van Bronckhorst has released Kanchelskis. Kanchelskis surely. 2-0. Rangers are most definitely heading towards the title. Now Van Bronckhorst. Oh, Van Bronckhorst has put Neil McCann in. Is this going to finish it? Alberts! It's a romp for Rangers. It's a second for Alberts. Nothing's going to stop them now. Here's Tugay. Oh, he's put Kanchelskis away. Kanchelskis. Wallace. He can't score. Van Bronckhorst can score. Giovanni Van Bronckhorst. Simply the best. Often echoes around Ibrox. Now you know why.
A Billy Dodds double finally clinched the league title at St Johnstone with 5 games left to play.
Away goes Red in a good position. Van Bronckhorst gives support. So does Rosenthal going in there. And it's in! Billy Dodds finishes off the move. And there goes the final whistle as the vast majority of the crowd rise to their feet to celebrate the confirmation of the championship. And the man of the match, Amoruso, going downfield there to acknowledge the supporters.
But the real celebration took place at Ibrox the following week, when after disposing of Dundee 3-0, Lorenzo once again hoisted the Bank of Scotland SPL trophy.
So, Lorenzo Amoruso is about to provide the proof that in Scotland, Rangers remain simply the best. It's time to salute the champions of the Scottish Premier League. And once again, it's Rangers.
By the time vice-captain Arthur Newman was lifting the Scottish Cup at Hampden following a 4-0 thrashing of Aberdeen, it had become clear that trouble was brewing for Lorenzo. And it wasn't just the ankle injury which had forced him to sit out the 5th trophy win in 2 seasons. While in Antwerp for an operation a couple of weeks earlier, he'd received a call from a journalist telling him that the club were prepared to sell him. They'd lost out on cash for Brian Laudrup and didn't want it happening again with Lorenzo, should new contract talks prove inconclusive.
I was quite angry for all the situation because I couldn't find any explanation for, to see this kind of situation. Of course, the manager and the chairman, they were quite clear saying to me, Lorenzo, we had just an agreement. We sold you, but if you want to go, you can go. Otherwise, you can stay. But it's not that kind of a situation that you are expecting after, 2 fantastic seasons. And of course, my intention was always to stay with Rangers and achieve more trophies with Rangers. Of course, trying to go further in Europe. But I don't know, it was kind of situation that probably, I don't know now, I'm going to know why this situation happened. But of course, through the summer I went to Sunderland to talk about it because of course, basically I was, on the transfer list market. And, I went there, I had a good chat with Peter Reid, with the manager. We didn't agree for many other reasons. And then I came back to Scotland, that's it. I finished my rehabilitation in Italy and I came back in the late month of July, just ready for the league again.
It was going to take a much bigger club than Sunderland to prize Lorenzo away from Rangers. And so he returned for what was to prove ultimately a miserable season for the club. Yet one which had started out on a wave of optimism.
Won't be involved in this free kick as Amoruso tries his luck to great effect. 3-0 to Rangers. Albert setting it up and Lorenzo Amoruso setting Rangers up for a place in the European Champions League.
Yeah, superbly struck free kick. There seemed to be either a deliberate dummy or a bit of indecision, but in any event that ball was in the post. A terrific free kick from Amoruso. We know he can do it. The wall stood still, didn't move at all, and the ball's now nestling in the back of the net there.
A trademark free kick in the 6-0 aggregate win over the Danish side, Herfølge, catapulted the squad into the Champions League group section, and a repeat helping of the glory and the grief suffered in the previous campaign. The early performances, coming as they did after a mauling from Celtic, were as good as any Lorenzo could remember.
Well, to put it in, Alberts can't get the shot. Ball bouncing just that little bit high, and that's a goal. Michael Mould. Alan Johnson tried to tantalise them, and that's it. It's a great goal. Now Johnston tried to slip inside. Van Bronckhorst. Now Albert, he must let fly. He does! Oh, marvellous strike! It's slack again. Here's Ronald de Boer. Did that very neatly. Going himself. There's Van Bronckhorst! Oh, that's a superb goal! Good run, nice little reverse pass. Billy Dodge, he'll have a go at it. Oh, what a goal! Monaco simply allowing Rangers to play the ball across the field at the moment. Just over 7 minutes played. There's Konteman. Alan Johnson gets his freedom. Held on to it very well. Johnson still there. Ferguson wide. Newman. Van Bronckhorst. He'll let fly. It's a great goal by Van Bronckhorst. Superb strike.
We won against Sturm Graz 5-0 home, and we won away in Monaco against Monaco 1-0. And we were playing good football in that moment. But in the league, we were struggling. I don't know, probably because we were a bit distracted from the Champions League. We were on top of the group, and we were so focused probably in doing well in Champions League. But Some players sometimes they don't remember that if you win in your domestic competition, then only then you can go in Champions League. And then I think it's been another turning point because some players was too much focused on winning or doing well in Europe, which is good but not good enough.
The cracks had been papered over, but in the space of 14 horrendous days, Rangers crashed to 4 catastrophic defeats, 3 of them in the league and the other away to Sturm Graz. The league challenge was on the wane, and Europe too was slipping away. The manager decided that something radical had to be done, and his decision had a shattering effect on Lorenzo's Rangers career. The unthinkable had happened. Dick Advocaat removed his treasured captain's armband.
In the early period, in the early days of November, we weren't playing very well. We lost 3 games in a row, I think. And the manager, don't know why, decided to take away from me the armband of captain, and just to try to make a big shock in the dressing room, to try to lift the atmosphere in the dressing room and give probably the players, a better commitment for those games. But of course, it's something that I really didn't like in that period. I still don't like now, and probably in a year's time I'm not going like it anymore, because it's very difficult to explain what I felt in that period. It's like something take away an arm from you or leg or whatever. It's very bad,
Champions League survival now rested on defeating Monaco at home. But despite scoring 2 cracking goals, Rangers' confidence was at a low ebb. Fate conspired against Lorenzo and his team. The French scored a late equaliser, and the draw sent Rangers tumbling out. Lorenzo played on with a heavy heart, but he has never walked away from a challenge in his life, and a decision about his future could wait. To lighten the gloom a little, he struck back in typical fashion, scoring in the 5-1 defeat of Celtic, which saw Torre-Andre Flo make his debut for the club.
Amoruso would love to cap off a fantastic performance with a goal. Alberts drills it in, and Amoruso has done it! It is a goal for Lorenzo Amoruso! You didn't really think Rangers would give up that easily, did you?
Well, it caps a fabulous performance for the big Italian. Celtic once again failing to defend the set piece. Plenty of bodies goal side. Amoruso prepared to put his head in where he might get hurt. And certainly no more than Lorenzo Amoruso deserves.
But before the year was out, the club had succumbed to Kaiserslautern in the UEFA Cup, and the league was stretching out of reach. 2 further defeats back-to-back against the Dundee teams in 4 days in March finally saw the title and Scottish Cup relinquished.
More encouraging that for Rangers, and De Boer himself with the corner kick drifted in for Amoruso! 3-0! Head and shoulders above everyone there to knock the ball in, and any doubt about the outcome of this match is now gone.
He deserves this goal. It was with the head, but the use of the ball with his feet this afternoon has been pretty spectacular. But that header, a real bullet effort at the near post. Superb cross put in there. Amoruso up above everyone, bulleting it into the back of the net. Superb finish.
It seems as if Lorenzo Amoruso is on the way out at Ibrox, but I think a lot of these Rangers supporters would love to think that he could stay on. He remains a top-class defender, highly popular with the Rangers fans, and as he showed there, he can finish at the other end too.
The season ended, though, on a bright note. 13 goals were scored in the final 3 games. Lorenzo got himself in the score sheet, but then had a decision to make. And he let it be known as he left the field following the final match of the season against Hibs that he was unlikely to return to Ibrox.
I said to myself, I think it's better if you're not really appreciated, you can really go away. And I left an interview on television saying that probably it was my last game of the season, and probably I was trying to go away from Rangers. The reaction from the fans in that period has been unbelievable. I mean, I met so many people, I received so many letters from fans in that period, that week I have to say, that no one of them was saying, Lorenzo, maybe it's better if you go. No, all of them were just right behind me, say, Lorenzo, you stay at the club because you are, the man who really can can help us, always, give you 100%, you always go out of the pitch with your top completely wet. This is kind of attitude that we want from all the players. So even if there was a great answer from the fans, which I always say again, thank you to them, I didn't change my mind right away. I went in holiday, of course, speaking with my agents. We were waiting from some, calls from some other clubs in Italy or some other teams in Europe. Something didn't work, of course. And at the same time, in the meantime, the chairman, basically, and the manager, they were phoning me in Italy because they wanted me to stay and probably to sign another contract, So I came back here because, of course, something didn't work in Italy with some clubs. But I did come here back to Scotland, but I was really doubtful. Maybe just having a position here, doing maybe a month or something, and maybe if something else could work out away from Scotland, then I could sign a contract with another club. Of course, we started to have a training, new facilities, Murray Park, fantastic facility, great facilities. And, the atmosphere of the players, they were more, more nicer than normal. Even the manager, everything was just in the beginning, but you could see there was something different from the year before. So I've been chatting a lot with the chairman in 2-3 months, just through the summer basically, and then I ended up in the end of September to sign a new contract with Rangers. I just made up my mind just because I always loved this club, always loved these people around Ibrox, loved all the time the atmosphere that I feel every time I walk through Ibrox, because are been my best years in Scotland, I have to say. 5 years almost, I have to say high level, sometimes low level, but that is a part of life anyway. But I have to say, for my point of view, are the best years of my career.
For Lorenzo, it truly was a new beginning.
Into the game, Reina's free kick. And it's off the upright from Moore. And Lorenzo Amoruso scores for Rangers. I'm sure that was over the line. On his comeback, Amoruso opens the scoring.
Yeah, another good ball in from Reina. Lovely sweeping ball, real physical presence. Moore commits them, comes off the outside of the post. Amoruso manages to hit target, goes through the goalkeeper, and it's definitely over the line before it's put in again here. Real commitment from Moore there to get something onto the goal. Amoruso keeps his composure. Yeah, it's well over, and it's 1-0 to Rangers.
The shooting boots were on against Moscow Dynamo in the UEFA Cup, and with the exception of 2 narrow defeats to Celtic, in which Rangers had the bulk of the play, the general form was improving.
Lorenzo Amoruso, rock solid at the back, and has more than once saved them. Just the 1.5 steps. This is tempting fate. Amoruso! What a strike from Amoruso!
A dramatic penalty shootout victory against Paris Saint-Germain, in which Lorenzo naturally played his part, took the club beyond Christmas in Europe for the first time in a decade. Even without the armband, Lorenzo was leading by example. And then a bolt from the blue. Dick Advocat took the decision to step upstairs at Ibrox to the role of Director of Football. A fresh face would be in the dugout. Enter Alex McLeish, the 77 times capped Scotland Hall of Fame defender, who'd cut his managerial teeth with Motherwell and then Hibs. After taking the acclaim of the Rangers support at his first home match against Dundee United, he stood back and enjoyed the revitalised Amo, producing one of his special moments.
Oh, it's Amoruso! And on his return from suspension, the big fella leaps up there with delight. A simple goal, but very effective. And he comes across to the new management team and gives them both a hug.
The relationship between manager and player is a good one, based on mutual respect as professionals.
Of course, it's unfair to say against Advocat something, but I have to say definitely the attitude that Alex McLeish has got with us during the training, or before the game or after the game or whatever, is completely different from Advocat. Now I think most of the players are happy, but not because we are doing well. It's just because even if you don't play, you know that the manager always has got an eyes on you. And that is important, because even if you don't get the shirt of the first 11, you know that sooner or later you're going to have your chance. Now, if you get the chance, it's up to you to get it, so that's the most important thing. But I'm really starting to get again all the players together. I can see that we are sticking together again, and we are becoming again a big, big family.
Lorenzo, you never sell any videos.
This year he's been immense. I think under Alex McLeish he's flourished again. When I spoke to him last time after the Old Firm game, I mean he sounded like he was really he was up for it. He wanted to stay here, and he's become a very popular player. That was not always the case, and that shows the character of a guy, because he was criticised not only by the press but also by the Rangers fans at some point. But he, as I say again, he kept his cool, believed in himself, and he came out now as one of the most important players of this team. So that shows some sort of character, definitely.
Never short of courage on the park, Lorenzo put himself in the firing line in a volatile fixture with Aberdeen, pleading with supporters to see sense. It earned him unanimous praise. The match was delayed for 25 minutes to allow tempers to cool. When the players re-emerged, it was Amo who gained the plaudits with as fine a strike as you'll see anywhere, witnessed on television by his family and friends back in Italy.
Here's Amoruso. He's a long way out, shaping up for the shot. Oh, what a goal by Amoruso! Oh, that's magnificent! That came out of nothing! Fantastic strike by Lorenzo Amoruso, and Rangers have the lead. What a goal! The Italian looked as if he was shaping up here. No one expected the left foot shot, and well away from Pinakia. Oh, that's a contender for goal of the season. It's a great strike.
We went through the pitch after 20-25 minutes talking with the manager in the dressing room, and we started right away with good aggression, on the ball, good commitment again. Like nothing happened, to be honest. I scored a fantastic goal with my left foot. Great, probably the best goal in my life, I have to say. And then, we have been playing quite well so far, all the second half as well. Good defending as well. We had a few chances again to score, but we didn't. But near the game, we won, and then we came back to Glasgow with 3 points in our bag, which has been fantastic, because play over there is not always easy.
Just 2 days later, another Amoruso goal helped see off the stubborn challenge of Berwick Rangers in the Tennent's Scottish Cup. But the game which most Rangers fans would pick as a standout amongst many fine performances in the first year of his new contract took place against the old rival Celtic in the CIS League Cup semi-final. Alex McLeish would agree with them.
Well, he's been very consistent, but if you're forcing me to choose one game, then I would have to say the semi-final of the CIS Cup against Celtic, when he had a phenomenal game from start to finish. I think he set the tone the first couple of minutes when we started a bit nervously, Rangers, and there was a pass back which put Stefan in trouble, and John Hartson skipped round Stefan Klos and had a tap in, but like every good defender should do, Lorenzo ran back to the line, chased the lost cause, and found that it wasn't a lost cause and cleared it off the line, and that lifted the Rangers fans so much, and also the team, and I could see it just going through the team and showing very much that they were all up for that game, and that I had a good feeling about the game from that point.
Hovering over it. There's a little touch through. Caniggia was going up for that. And that's in just then. Robert Quails has opened the scoring for Rangers. What an opportunist goal. We said the first goal was going to be crucial. It looked as if the defence would clear that. And in comes Lovenkrands to cleave it round the end of the defence. Avaladze. There's Contamin. Oh, what a goal! A magnificent goal! Bert Contamin, of all people, the man who has been criticised, not to say ridiculed so often, puts Rangers in front with a tremendous strike.
Since the hammer left Rangers, penalty kick duties have been spread around the team, and against Dundee United it was step forward Lorenzo for the perfect finish.
It's to be Lorenzo Amoruso. 1-0. Amoruso breaks the deadlock with his 5th goal of the season and his first penalty for Rangers.
Well, obviously a good technique there. He doesn't even take a step back. That's confidence for you. Sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. Lovely crisp finish, great composure, fabulous mentality.
Then, after a season without honours, the first of the Scottish trophies returned to Ibrox through a comfortable 4-0 win over Ayr United in the CIS League Cup final.
Here's Caniggia. Come across to the left now, Caniggia. Better run by Caniggia. On it goes to Flo. And it's there! Poor Andrew Flo. Well, the man who's hardly been in a game opens the scoring. Delightful run by Caniggia to start off with. Barry Ferguson has scored with the last 3 penalties he's taken. And has taken them with confidence. And now Craig Nelson. He does it again. Rangers 2 up right at the start of this half. Latupi, there's Hughes. Good run by McCann inside, there's Caniggia. Beautiful goal. Well, that caps a wonderful second half display, in particular by the Argentine. And as these pictures are travelling around the world, as he ultimately will, and are watched by the people who matter in the Argentine squad, there is a player with great skill. Hughes looks in again. That's a decent ball, and Caniggia! I think the linesman has given the goal. Caniggia has put it in for Rangers' 4th goal. They're claiming it didn't cross the line, but the linesman was right over there in Caniggia. This might give us a better indication. Up it goes, missed by Caniggia. Yes, I think it was over.
Lorenzo's career at Rangers had turned full circle as he lifted once again the first trophy he had collected as a Rangers player.
Lorenzo Amoruso, how could it, the de facto captain of the side in terms of the eyes of the supporters. There he goes. We saw the several moods of this man today, but he's delighted to have his hands on silverware.
And the warm welcome received back at Ibrox signifies the mutual admiration between player and supporters.
It was 1 year without winning anything, so bringing some good silver awards to Ibrox has been fantastic, as a football player, of course, but what I'm concerning about also is the fans, because these people, of course, they are always about cheering up us, always supporting us, and today has been a good day for them.
It's a rare day off from the intense existence which is professional football. And with another trophy in the bag, Lorenzo's into sharp shooting of another kind. There's a great tradition of game hunting in Italy, but here it's pigeons of the clay variety that he's after. And he and his friend Vito Laviola are in the expert hands of the former Commonwealth Games gold medalist Ian Marsden at the Hilton Dunkeld Shooting Academy in glorious Perthshire.
Just get your body around to the right a little bit. That's it. Okay. That's fine. Okay, safety off. Okay, that's it. Just there now. Now don't move the gun until it comes to you. Ready? Okay.
Ball.
Okay, stroke ahead of it. Well done.
Ball.
Stroke through. Perfect. Right in the middle.
Fantastic.
After 5 happy years in Scotland, with hopefully more to come, Lorenzo can truly say that it's his second home.
Scotland, it's a country where, with weathers like this, it's fantastically beautiful, and you really can enjoy all the nature, all the countryside, everything, of course, apart your job. And that's what I like to do when I'm off for football, coming off the city centre, coming off from the city, coming off of the stress of the city, and trying to enjoy, of course. I shooting, I go clay pigeon, I go sometimes, pick up some mushroom when the season started, and these kind of things that makes me relax, make me, confident about being a human being, really, and also in contact with the nature, because, that's where we belong, by the way. And I think I'm going to have a base here where sometimes, I don't know, in any season, probably in the summer or spring or whatever, definitely I would love to come back here in this country, just for maybe a weekend, a week or month, I don't know, but just for enjoy, for remind me also nice moments that I had, memories that I had in this country.
But when the day comes to finally hang up his boots for good, he'll return to Italy, to the sunshine, to the pasta and the fine wine, and the one city above all others which has captured his heart.
I love this city because you have everything in this city. Basically, you have architecture things, they are fantastic. You got everything, sea is very close, mountain, good weather, good people, good food, of course. And what you can ask more, if you can have a long walk through the city center, you can see anything, good shops as well, or you can stay just a bit outside the city and you can have this fantastic view of the city, and we can really relax, enjoy your life and really be happy. That's the most important thing for me. I think I will come back to here in Florence because I always love this city. I think Florence is really the city of my life, definitely. I love this city.
But until that day arrives, there will surely be many more great Rangers moments to enjoy, inspired by the charismatic Lorenzo Amoruso.
For my future, hopefully, I want to win everything because, I'm always very ambitious in anything I do. So I hope that somebody else like me wanted to win a lot of things with Rangers, and of course with the help of everybody together, then we can really achieve these important things.